My name is Charlie Fitzroy. I'm the CEO of Bradda Head Lithium. We are a relatively fresh company to the AIM market. We listed back in July this year. We went out to raise £4 million, ended up raising £6 million. We had interest up to 9, so we scaled back a little bit from there. We are AIM listed. We are in the process of OTC listing. We listed there before the end of the year. We're a lithium explorer with assets in Arizona and Nevada in the US. And what sets us apart from other sort of peer group is that we have brine assets, pegmatite assets, and sedimentary assets, so all three asset types, which is quite unique in the lithium explorer market. We own these assets outright, 100%, and with work underway at all of them. Yesterday, we just announced we finished our first drill program, which will have a resource upgrade early Q1. We also, on Monday, just announced that we've signed a binding LOI with Lithium Royalty Company for a royalty on our sedimentary claims in Arizona, which will bring in $10 million on signing. So very exciting time for us. Listed back in July, lots going on, and lots coming for next year. As I said, we've been very busy since IPO. We've done lots of things. We've doubled our land holding in Arizona. We've completed drilling at our Burro Creek East asset. We've in the midst of finishing off geophysical programs at our sedimentary assets and our pegmatite assets. We're also about to start drilling at the second part of our sedimentary assets. And we're also going to do some work at our brines shortly as well. So all in all, lots going on. Listed back in July at 5.5p. I think we're closing today between 8.5 to 9p, so somewhere between 56, 55% up on our listing price back in July. So far, very good going. As a company, we understand where we need to be. We need to be in a situation where we get all our three asset types to a situation where they are low production costs, low carbon footprint, battery quality, lithium end product producers. And how are we doing that? Well, we're doing that by three ways. We've identified what we need to do. We need to increase our resources at our sedimentary assets. We're developing the processing technology at our sedimentary assets because that's vital for lithium clays. And we're increasing the knowledge at our pegmatites and brines. And how are we doing that? Well, we're accelerating the drilling at our sedimentary assets. We just finalised that program as of today. We're about to start a second program shortly. We're prioritising our assets through remote sensing and geophysics. We've added some team members. We've added an ESG professional, a technical consultant and a processing consultant, and I'll introduce them later. And we're also doing metallurgical test work at our lithium clays. And alongside of that, we're doing geophysics to really understand the sedimentary assets and the pegmatites a lot better. The key thing about Bradda as well is the team behind it. We've got a lot of familiar faces here you might understand. Ian Stalker is our chairman. Ian himself's built 12 operations. He's had a lot of successes in his life in mining since he's joined in 21. He's now 70. Jim Mellon is our largest shareholder. Jim is a UK billionaire who's had a lot of success in the mining world. Myself, I'm a geologist by background. Spent some time in the British Army before working in economic geology, and I've worked in M&A, equity research, asset management, and most recently I was at China Moly, which is a very large Chinese corporate. And that's why when I was looking at lithium projects at China Moly and this opportunity came to join out at Bradda, I jumped at it. And I joined earlier this year in April to help the company list. We've got a very strong team on the ground and a very strong board. So all in all, Bradda's board and management really understand how to grow a small company and return value to shareholders. The new members I mentioned earlier, we've mentioned three guys: the ESG professional, technical consultant, and processing consultant. Bradda really believes in its engagement with the local stakeholders and local tribes in the area because we're going to be there for a long time. We want to build a relationship. That's why we've engaged Adam Hawkins, who is a very good ESG professional. He used to work at the Senate in the US and now works in-house at Rio Tinto and Hud Bay, and is very good at helping companies like ours engage with our stakeholders and build lasting relationships. And then from the clays point of view, which is a key thing, we've engaged two professionals to help us with our technical and processing consultancy. Dr. Tendu Sharma, he is a processing ninja, and he's got 16 patents to his name, and he's helping us with our metallurgical test work. And then Don Haynes, Don consults for a lot of the lithium juniors out there, both on the geological and processing side of things. Don unusually entered into the industrial minerals sector on finishing his academic work, and has been in there for many, many years. He was in lithium before it became cool, so these guys, we've got a very strong team behind us from technical and ESG point of view. And as I mentioned, Adam is helping us right now build our ESG policy, which are we in the process of finalising. From a point of view which I think I'm sure a lot of people understand, thematic behind the lithium. There's very little production currently in the US, and the US needs to develop its lithium production because there is significant demand coming. Bradda itself has assets in the US. Currently, all lithium that enters the US comes from South America or Australia. Pegmatite mining in Australia and brines in South America. This is then sent to China to be processed and then sent on, which can be an opaque process. Carbon footprint builds up on this. And if you look at the chart on the right-hand side here, we've got carbon intensity versus capital intensity. Pegmatites are quite hard in carbon intensity, lower in capital, and then the brines are reversed. Bradda's assets are US-based, so we're developing US assets in the US, processing US for the US end market. And that's what we believe we're going to be, is low on the carbon intensity and capital intensity point of view. So Bradda's asset, which we are developing now, we've just finished a drill program, going to get resource out Q1, starting a new program for resource in Q2. So those are two major milestones coming. This slide here shows that we've got 47 square kilometers of claims. We've drilled 2% of them. American Lithium, which is a comparable grade to our Burro Creek East asset, which the upgrade resource is out shortly, they've got 30 square kilometers. They've drilled about 40% of theirs. So you can see the potential growth we have at our resource here. American Lithium's market cap's about $1 billion now. Bradda's at about 40 million. So there's a huge potential growth for us as a company. I can see I'm coming up on my time very quickly here. This is our sedimentary assets. We've got 47 square kilometers here. We've just signed a royalty, which will enable us to get these assets to an early stage technical study without coming to the market again for funding. So that's the key message here. And we've got only drilled 2%. So the next time we'll come to market for any sort of funding, we would have got an early stage study and demonstrated what we had there. By the end of Q2 next year, we would have drilled close to 20% up. So you can see from the last slide the potential resource upgrade we have at Bradda. Potential for upwards of 5 million tons of LCE. Wikieup, we're starting drilling very shortly, and that'll be a resource out in Q2. Interesting about Wikieup is it surrounds Arizona Lithium's Big Sandy project, which has a grade of 1850 ppm. That's why we're drilling there, because we perceive we're going to get a very good grade in that section. Burro Creek, we have a resource at our Burro Creek East, which is right down the bottom there, just down that east side. We just finished a program there. That resource will be out next year. The reason why we're excited about Burro Creek East is if you look at this slide, that bottom block chart, you'll see there's 2 layers of clay. We believe the clay thickens to the west and northwest, and the upper clay zone, which is the higher grade zone, thickens that way. I'm not going to focus too much on that, but the key thing about that is this is all, the royalty will enable us to develop this assets to early stage technical study about future funding. And then we come to our pegmatites. We've just done some geophysics, which has identified that our pegmatites potentially extend at depth. We believe that it's very similar to Kathleen Valley or Bald Hill, where you have thin pegmatites at surface which extend at depth. That's crucial because we've just done a geophysical program which has enabled us to see down to about 90 to 100 meters, and now we're putting together a drill program for next year. And if we manage to demonstrate we have a viable pegmatite there, we've got our 9-kilometer strike in our district, and we just added 5 kilometers squared because of the geophysical results. And as I mentioned earlier, American Lithium is huge potential comparisons to our sedimentary claims. With Limetown Resources, who own the Kathleen Valley resource, we see the similar comparison to our pegmatites. The market understands pegmatites, it understands brines, it's still figuring out clays. If we demonstrate we're a viable pegmatite, which could come as early as Q2, Q3 next year, then we believe Bradda will be catapulted and have a complete market valuation. And then, which I haven't even talked about yet, is our brines. So we have pegmatites, brines, and clays. We've got some very interesting brine projects up in Nevada. Wilson, where we've done an MT survey, has demonstrated there is 2 basins, one shallow, one deep. We're doing a drill program next year to test that. Then Spencer, where we've had surface grades up to 550 ppm. This is important because we know that there's mineralized clay at surface. We need to do a drill program to demonstrate that. And then we're also doing an MT survey to understand the basin. So that will build into our thesis there as well, because it's a geothermal system at Spencer too. So that potentially enables us to develop that from a geothermal point of view. So all in all, 3 types of clay, Arizona and Nevada. We're funded to take our sedimentary assets to early stage technical study. We've got enough funding to be able to demonstrate what's at the pegmatites and the brines, and a lot of news flow coming. Hugely supportive shareholder group. got about $7 million on the books right now and 10 million coming in, and then very supportive board of management, good shareholding base, listing on the OTC2, and then TSXV next year. So all in all, very good opportunity to buy in at Bradda at a stage where we haven't demonstrated what the company has, and soon we will.